Good morning. It is a bright and beautiful day here on Galveston Island after some really miserable weather that we've had recently. Not as miserable as most of you living up in the cold, frozen north, but definitely not the most pleasant of weather to have here on the island. And it's nice to sit here and listen to the birds and the sounds of the lawnmowers and the other things outside. It's Lent. And for those of us who came from the Western traditions, that means giving something up for Lent. I'm going to make a different suggestion this year, though. Don't worry about giving up soda pop or chocolate or your favorite dinner. Try instead a giving of. What do I mean by that? Find something that you think would be good for you as a spiritual practice and give of your time to that. Maybe it's picking somebody who you know could use some help and giving them that help. Maybe it's going to an old person's house and helping them clean. Maybe it's sitting and listening to a toddler as they're beginning to understand how to communicate. Maybe it's spending extra time with a teenager who really probably needs somebody to listen to them. Sometimes we get so involved in the things that we do that we forget to sit and listen to one another. It's one of the things that God gave us, a pair of ears to listen. Sometimes we jump in and we go, oh, we've got to do this, oh, we've got to do that, oh, we've got to... Maybe not so much we got to do. Maybe more, let me listen, let me hear. Sometimes we, in our modern day, expect instant answers. You're probably watching this on a computer or on your phone, and you can click on Google search and find just about anything you want in under 5 seconds. But finding your place with God doesn't happen like that. Yeah, you can search finding your place to God on Google, but you need to spend some time with God to do that. Okay, so the church has given us things throughout the years, throughout the centuries, to do during Lent. We pray. Okay, most of us got a pretty good idea about that. Set a little more time aside for that during Lent. We give alms. Give of ourselves. And alms doesn't mean just reach into your pocket and pull out $1 and give it to somebody and think that that's got it done. Give of yourself. Give of your time, of your talents. Do those things that you can do for someone else. And fasting. And fasting, when I grew up in the Roman Church, meant eating fish on Fridays, the abstinence of meat. It meant, you had this whole legalism of, well, you can have the equivalent of a whole meal throughout the entire day on Ash Wednesday. And stop with that for a minute. Fasting is to be in control of things that you can be in control of. You can fast with your eyes, not looking at things you shouldn't be. You can fast with your tongue, not saying things you shouldn't. You can fast with your ears, making space to hear the inner voice of God. Those are the kinds of things that can help bring us closer to God. And we live in a world that says, no, entertain me, I gotta have something doing. You talk with my students, if you took their phones away from them, I think they would die. At least they think they would die. But when's the last time we took 24 hours away from our communication devices? When's the last time we took serious time just to listen to God? It's a good question. Our world mitigates against that. It wants us not to do that. It wants us, make use of your time, every second's valuable. Yes, it is. And sometimes the greatest value is in wasting time with God. Now, in the midst of all of that, We can't go around taking one another's inventory. Oh, look, that person, I saw them eat a hamburger. God does not care whether you eat fish or hamburger. That's not what it's about. God is not concerned over the amount of intake of food that you take. That's not what fasting is about. Well, and you got to go do this and you got to pray this way. Every single person has a path to God. The Indians have the word sadhana, pathway to God. And you have to be on the right one. You have to be on the one that is authentic to you. At the same time, you can't go around telling other people what's authentic for them. And we as Christians tend to do that on a regular basis. We very quickly go to judging one another. Oh, you got to be doing this. Oh, you got to be doing that. Let's take a little more time during Lent to focus on our relationship with God. To spend that alone time fasting with our eyes, with our ears, with our mouths. That we do not interrupt the times that God's trying to tell us something. Remember, and I've said this a number of times in the past, when we were young, we had this idea that God was like a candy machine. I do X number of prayers and I get my reward. I've changed God's mind and God's going to do this for me. I don't think that's the case anymore. As I've grown older, I've realized that prayer doesn't change God's mind. It changes mine. Prayer makes me a better person. I hope for every one of us that this is a prayer-filled Lent, and that with Easter's joy on the horizon, we come closer and closer to God, who is our Creator, our Redeemer, and our Sanctifier, now and forever and unto the ages of ages.